Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is another beautiful day here in Washington State. Obviously I'm back here at my place. It was a good trip. Figured I'd come on here and do a little bit of a debrief of sorts. So, let's get into it. So, headed out last Thursday night for Moses Lake. I posted 3 videos from the trip. Yeah, those videos are already up on the channel, so if you want to click those links up here, that'll take you to those videos. It was a good time. It was a good time. It was kind of like the last hurrah of sorts. It's my last visit out to Moses Lake, at least to visit Mike. He's moving across the country. I don't think I've said that yet on the channel, but he's moving to the East Coast to be closer to family. It's going to be a bummer not being able to just hop in the car and drive 4 hours and see Mike. I'm going to have to hop on a plane and fly 6 hours to see Mike. Which, I mean, it gives me an excuse to go back to the East Coast. I spent half of my youth growing up on the East Coast in Virginia. And, you know, there's certain things I like about the East Coast. I would like to go back to visit. It'd be good. So, anyways, all that being said, it made this trip that much more important, I think was the word I'm looking for there. Yeah, this is the last time I was going to see Mike until probably this time next year at the very least. So gives him time to get over there on the East Coast and settle in and everything like that. So good trip. Road trip the Mustang out there, obviously. It was a good drive out, went really quickly. Learned something new about the Mustang. The headlights aren't the best when you're out in the middle of nowhere on I-90 at 10 o'clock at night. Even the brights weren't really cutting it, so I was having to do a little bit of driving off of memory and had to slow down a couple times just because I have limited vision as it is. I was in a bit of a, what would you call it? Had a bit of an incident when I was working construction a few years ago, and I've only got about half vision in my left eye. So that kind of really makes night driving difficult. Mix that with some subpar headlights. I'm going to get that figured out soon. The headlights, that's a whole nother story. So, anyways, drove out there, got there safely, and Mike and I hung out that night, caught up, got all my computer hooked up and everything like that. He had me set up in the spare room. Over the next couple days, we did a little bit of fishing down at a local park. We went out and did some disc golf. Took his daughters to multiple parks so they could get some time out and play. So the following day was the Moses Lake Air Show, and it's something that they put on every year. I think one of the biggest sponsor is Boeing, because obviously we have Boeing right over the mountains, across the water from me here. Boeing's right across the water, so they do a lot of testing out in Moses Lake. They did a lot of testing for the 737 MAX out there, and I think they did some testing for the 787 out there as well. So their show was just a blast. They put on a pretty dang good event, I think. It was kind of interesting. You park out actually on the tarmac. You take the different taxiways out to the tarmac. They had it all set up, the traffic and everything like that. It was pretty cool, but you go all the way out there, and then they have all the static displays, all the planes that are just sitting on the tarmac that you can walk through and walk around. They also had some food vendors and food trucks out there, which was cool. Mike and I ended up eating some pulled pork sandwiches with fresh cut curly fries. Bomb. Expensive, but very, very good. I thought it was some pretty good barbecue. So they had some flight simulators, like full range motion flight simulators that go upside down and the whole 9 yards. That was like $15 ago. So kind of passed on that. I've been in something like that at the Smithsonian Air Museum in Washington, D.C. a long time ago. And it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was cool seeing a lot of people walking around in uniform again. Yeah, it's always cool being around uniform folks. It's a whole different class of human being. Most of the time, yeah. They also had some old warbirds out there. They had the F-40 Corsair, P-51 Mustang, some trainers, some old World War II trainers. some odd jets. I'm probably showing pictures right now. I'm probably flashing pictures up as I'm talking about these things. And then the highlight of the show, and the last act to go on, was the Navy. And they come out from NAS Whidbey Island, which is right across the water from me. I can see it from Eglon. I can see it from my local beach, looking across the water. It's kind of cool. But they flew out of there, flew across the mountains, and came out to Moses and put on a pretty good show. I forgot how loud those jets are. I thought I remembered how loud they were until the first pass. So yeah, that was really kick-ass. Did probably like a 5-minute demo, and it was cool. The look on Mike's face afterwards was priceless. I wish I would have got a picture of it. But he was astounded at the whole spectacle of the thing. So yeah, I think I took 1,100 pictures that day, which is the most pictures I've taken, and I ended up with like 20 good ones. I think 20, yeah, probably 20 solid pictures. Threw them up on my Instagram story yesterday, or the day before. The day before. And yeah, I was happy with a lot of them. I was really impressed with the old Nikon D5200. It did a lot better than I thought I was going to do. And that, my long lens, my 50 to 300, I think it is, or 50 to 350. Maybe it's 50 to 350. I don't know. But it did good. It's a pretty slow lens. It's a fairly slow lens and kind of slow to autofocus. So I was a little worried about being able to catch these aircraft flying by. But it did really good. Yeah, I put the autofocus in continuous servo mode, and that definitely helped keep everything in focus, and yeah, worried about everything being a silhouette, because the air show essentially took place midday, late midday, and the sun was directly overhead, and that is just horrible lighting to shoot in any normal conditions, but add in fast aircraft that are in the sky, and it's hard not to get a silhouette. So it was challenging, and I think the camera had a little bit of a hard time separating those shadows and highlights and everything like that. But in the end, I think it all worked out. I got really limited video, mostly because I just had my still camera around my neck the whole time, and I was just snapping pictures like a fool. So, alrighty, and that brings us to the road trip back. I didn't film it. I just didn't feel like filming it. I was having some really bad anxiety, actually, about driving back, and I don't know why. I did. I think it's because I knew I was going to hit traffic no matter how I cut the trip. And traffic in the Mustang is not fun. Traffic isn't fun on its own, but Seattle traffic in a 5-speed Mustang with a pretty heavy clutch, it's just not fun. So, anyways, I was having some crazy bad anxiety until I got on the road, and then, you start focus on driving, and, sort of your mind stops overthinking things, I guess. But, yeah, the drive really went pretty smooth, the first half of it, the Eastern Washington half. As soon as I got over the pass, things started to slow. Ended up stopping at a place called North Bend to top up the tank on the Mustang, because it did horrible on gas coming back. I think it's because I'm doing mostly climbing coming back, a lot more climbing coming back than I do going out, and I'm fighting a headwind going home, so that definitely plays a factor in it. And it was howling pretty good. So by the time I cleared Snoqualmie Pass, I had less than half a tank, which was like, yeah, not good. And I knew I was gonna, and knowing I was gonna get stuck in traffic, I did not want to get stuck in traffic with low gas. So I pulled off in North Bend and topped up the tank, got a little something to drink, and then got on my way. Hit the first bit of traffic around Issaquah, which is normal that time of day. That added probably 25 minutes. Then I hit traffic getting onto I-5. That added probably 25 minutes. Made it across the Tacoma Narrows Bridge, only to hit a third set of traffic in Gig Harbor. That was another 25 minutes added. So yeah, not the funnest second half of the drive home, but I got home safe, so that's all that counts. Got home around 4:30, 5 o'clock yesterday evening, I think. And yeah, here we are now. So that's the full debrief of the trip. I hope that you guys enjoyed this little series there probably won't be another one like it. That's it for Moses Lake. My only reason to go out there is probably fishing and hunting. But yeah, Mike will no longer be there, which is sad. Okay guys, that's it. Thanks for the continued support of the channel. Thanks for sticking with it and staying tuned. More content to come. This is the most content I've uploaded in a long time, so it feels good, and I feel like I've sort of got back in the swing of things, if that makes sense. So, alright guys, I'll see you in the next one.